Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Okay, so there's a viral clip going around the internet right now that perfectly exposes just how perverse and corrupt the healthcare lobby really is. It also shows us how important RFK Jr.'s involvement in work is. I've got a clip here of the American Heart Association, yes, the same group that claims to care about preventing heart disease. We got a clip of them fighting against RFK Jr.'s proposal to remove junk food from food stamp eligibility. Real interesting, right? You'd think that this would be a no-brainer. Why on earth would a group that supposedly promotes heart health be lobbying for government-subsidized soda and candy? Well, surprise, surprise. Turns out they take massive funding from Pepsi and Kellogg's and other big food giants, and suddenly it all seems to make sense. Just wait till you guys see this clip. It's absolutely mind-blowing. And what's even more mind-blowing, or honestly, just pure brain rot, is some of the stuff that the leftoids are saying in defense of the American Heart Association. Boy, do I have a story for you guys today. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so take a look at this video that popped up on my timeline, posted by Grace Price. She writes the caption, "I am disgusted. The American Heart Association just sent an employee to Texas to fight a bill that would stop food stamps from covering candy and soda, a bill that reduces heart disease. Why? Well, because the American Heart Association takes money from Kellogg's, Pepsi, whose profits would tank if it passed. Thank you to Lois Kolkhorst for standing up for Texas kids against this corrupt heart health organization." Take a look.
I often say that I can never be surprised in this building, but for the American Heart Association to be against this bill.
SB 379 seeks to remove soda, candy, potato and corn chips, and cookies from the list of items eligible for purchase with SNAP.
My name is Alec Puente, and I'm the Director of Government Relations for the American Heart Association. I'm here to testify today in opposition to Senate Bill 379.
I would encourage you to look at what it restricts.
The Heart Association is concerned about potential impacts of this bill on participation and population health. Imposing nutritional restrictions will interfere with the primary function of SNAP, reducing hunger, without reducing root causes of chronic disease.
I'm here because I want to support the children on this program and protect them from the chronic disease that sugar will lead them to develop. I actually advocated for this bill in Arizona and was shocked by the big soda companies sending their own person to come and advocate for the fact that there's no correlation between soda consumption and obesity, which is just a straight up lie.
Holy frickin' moly. It's obvious what's going on here, right? The perverse incentives at play. You know, just like RFK Jr. says, chronic disease is big business. The more people are eating overly processed, unhealthy garbage, the more people get sick, and the more people get sick, the more doctor's visits, the more prescriptions, and of course the more expensive medical interventions down the road when you have patients that are now chronically ill. And that's where the real profit is. There's no money in healthy people. Just think about how insane this is. We know beyond a shadow of a doubt that excessive sugar consumption is a direct cause of diabetes, heart disease, and obesity, which just so happens to be the biggest three cash cows of the medical industry. Junk food is designed to be addictive, to make you crave more and more and more, leading to a downward spiral of weight gain, insulin resistance, and eventually a lifetime of expensive medications, doctor's visits, and procedures. And there are taxpayer-funded government programs that literally subsidize the consumption of this poison. And now Republicans want to put an end to it with this Make America Healthy Again movement. And we've got supposed leading medical organizations, the ones who pretend to care about public health, now fighting to keep it the way that it is. Fighting to keep subsidized junk food. That should tell you everything that you need to know. And what's crazy here is that this should be a bipartisan issue. But no, of course not. We don't live in a world of rational dialogue and common sense. We live in hyper-partisan tribal times. And so now that the Republicans are trying to do this, all of a sudden we're seeing all kinds of pushback from the left. It's completely absurd. I mean, some of the defenses that I'm seeing, apparently these policies are now racist, or at least that's the way the left is attempting to spin this. I've heard so many people making the argument that, oh, so now what? People of color are no longer allowed to have snacks? What? First of all, when did race ever even come into this? I mean, the vast majority of people on food stamps in America are white. It seems like the left is making the assumption that all poor people are people of color, all the people on food stamps who have access to these entitlements are minorities, and the evil Republicans are trying to steal their cookies away. Holy freaking moly, I mean, it's just mind-boggling. Just another racist argument coming from the left, and also just pure stupidity. Oh no, how dare you suggest that poor people who are disproportionately vulnerable to diabetes, heart disease, and obesity shouldn't be using taxpayer money to buy the very products that are killing them? What kind of sick logic is that? But that seems to be the thing with these leftist arguments. It's never about fact. It's always about emotional manipulation, right? They'd rather screech about imaginary racism than actually acknowledge the reality that poor communities need better nutrition, not government-sponsored diabetes in a bottle. And the hypocrisy here is unreal. You know, the same Democrats who are constantly going on about the evils of big corporations and big corporate lobbyists and big evil capitalism, I guess are now shilling for Pepsi and Kellogg's and other major corporations that are poisoning people. It's just unreal, and it's got me thinking about the Obama-era lunch program. You know, what was the whole messaging campaign there? It was all about limiting sugar and making sure that kids got real good food. They were healthy. Now, of course, that's what it was in theory. In practice, it was something else entirely.
You have to stop and think.
Why don't you want our kids to have good food at school? What is wrong with you?
Complete frickin' disaster, which is kind of disgraceful considering countries like Korea and Japan do stuff like this for their kids. America is the wealthiest and most prosperous nation on earth, and that's the best the federal government could come up with. Kinda pathetic, but anyways, let's try to not go off the rails here. The point is, Democrats used to pretend as if they gave a crap about people's health. That was the whole premise of that program. They used to always go on and on about food deserts. You remember that, right? How poor communities didn't have access to fresh food, and so they were eating highly processed junk food and microwave meals. And that was apparently some sort of Jim Crow era racist policy, right? Nothing to do with crime rates and retail thefts at all. Oh, I'm gonna catch myself there because I'm gonna go all over the place on another tangent. But anyways, food deserts, right? That was a big problem, a big issue, because they cared so much about the people, the vulnerable people who needed good food. Well, now all of a sudden, limiting food stamps to good nutritious food, I guess, is a far-right extremist position. Give me a frickin' break. Let's be real. If the government is giving you benefits on taxpayers' dime, they should be for necessities only. Meat, rice, bread, vegetables, dairy, real food. If you want a cake, buy flour and make it yourself. You want soda, you want sweets? Buy it with your own money. No one is saying that you cannot have junk food. No, I think the argument is that government probably shouldn't be paying for it, especially considering in the end, they're going to have to pay for it through Medicaid once you get institutionalized in the medical system after the poor diet makes you sick. It's common sense, folks. It's common sense policy. It's good policy. Texas is right on this one. RFK Jr. is right. And the people who are defending the current status quo, well, you're either hopelessly partisan, tribal, and brainwashed, or deeply corrupt, or maybe both. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys on this one. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.